The title for our event tonight refers to SWAPO's policy. But I would like that we broaden the discussion after the presentations further. In my opinion, 50-50 representation in Parliament cannot be a target in itself. It's a first step. It should be seen as an instrument to accelerate the creation of gender equality in the country and to achieve, finally, SDG 5. So gender equality should not mean less than equal opportunities on the labor market, equal pay for equal work, equal living conditions, and 100% equal rights in relevant laws and their implementation afterwards. This has to be the target, nothing less. It took long for the ruling party to implement what is called the zebra list. Close to 15 years since the beginning of the discussions. But Namibia is still ahead of the majority of countries. Once implemented in 2014, it made Namibia a role model in the region, a role model on the continent, and a role model in the whole world. The SADC region was already before the region with the highest representation of women in parliaments in the world, even higher than Europe in these days. Now Zambia has taken the lead in SADC with the implementation of the zebra list, topped on the continent only by Rwanda, which has a 62% of women representation in parliament. On a global level, Rwanda leads as well, followed by 4 American countries: Cuba, Mexico, Bolivia, and Grenada. Namibia has the 6th highest representation of women in parliament in the world, before Sweden. We have to welcome tonight some representatives from the Olaf Palme Foundation. Nice that you have joined us here. So, by the way, the lowest share of women representation in the world is found in Lebanon, 3.1%. And the parliaments in Qatar and Oman have no women at all in their parliament. They are very small. So, worldwide statistics has shown that the share of women in parliaments has doubled since the Beijing conference. In 1997, it was measured at 12%. In 2015, it was measured at 23%. And just not to talk only in percentages, in absolute figures, we can count all over the world 40,000 members of parliament in the first chambers, out of which 30,000, roughly 30,000 are men and 10,000 are women. So around the world, women now have more decision-making power and influence over social, political, and economic life, more than ever before. However, progress is uneven, both across and within countries. While increasing the number of women in political positions is important, it does not automatically follow that they have real authority or decision-making autonomy. The British DFID has conducted recently a study with interesting results. First, to mention, economic development does not automatically lead to a higher representation of women in parliaments. Countries with higher GDPs do not have more female MPs. So the leading countries in the world are classified as developing countries. So all the only industrialized countries among the top 10 with highest women representation is Sweden. So the second finding, more women in parliaments does not automatically mean more women in top government positions. I think one example here is Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, close to 40% of the members of parliament are women, but only in the government it's only 12%. And the third finding, in my opinion, the most important one is the change is slow. The change is slow. More women in parliament does not automatically mean that gender equality is achieved faster. The rules in the political arena are still male dominated, and we have to see men's network work better. So the major question for tonight is, in my opinion, what needs to be done? What needs to be done? But don't expect the answer from the one who's giving the opening remarks. We should expect the answers from our key presenters and from the discussions later. But I would like to share with you one example. So you know that our partner tonight is Lari. You know that Friedrich-Ebert-Stiftung is worldwide an active partner of the labor movement. And we made one interesting experience in the work of the international labor movement. Because they were facing a similar problem. First, too little women in leadership functions, and then they introduced a quota as well, but little change took place. And then they addressed the problem with mentorship problems, where experienced colleagues shared their knowledge with younger women who have been elected to new positions and coached them for some time. So after these mentorship programs, they have started a three-phase approach. The first step was learn the rules. The second one was use the rules. And the third one was change the rules. So learn the rules, which were man-made rules. Use the rules in your favor. And change the rules to make them more gender sensitive. So maybe that experience from the international labor movement can help for the discussion on the political parties, especially here on the 50-50 regulation from the start. So I'm only the one who gives the opening, the welcome remarks. So allow me therefore to conclude. I wish us interesting deliberations and discussions.